Reddit, how did you learn about sex? You see kids, before the internet there used to be these big, multi-volume books full of information called encyclopedias. One day in second grade while perusing the S volume of the World Book Encyclopedia I stumble across the sexual intercourse entry. I read and am simultaneously repulsed yet intrigued. I call a few friends over and rampant 8-year-old snickering ensues. The librarian comes over to investigate and I rapidly change the page to sextant. I explain I am curious about pre-technology seafaring navigation. I guess she bought it. Later that day we all pointed at the pregnant 5th grade teacher and made 2nd grade level jokes about her activities with her husband. Probably sounded like a poorly written episode of Beavis and Butthead. I must have been in 2nd or 3rd grade, and the older kids at daycare had this joke where they would start humping a random object and say, "Look, I'm doing it with object," and all the other older kids would laugh. So we are sitting in circle time and this kid who I think had Down syndrome or some other similar affliction starts basically humping the rug on the floor and I proudly exclaimed, "Hey everyone, it looks like, kid, is doing it with the rug." I got in so much trouble. And I legit had no idea why. After getting chewed out for hours by both the teachers at daycare and later my parents at home, I finally had the courage to ask the older kids what it was the next day. It's been like 30 years and I can still remember the transition between thinking I was a comedian to the realization that what I had said was hurtful based on the teacher's reaction. Thinking about it still makes me feel Googling naked woman alone at night while I was meant to be doing homework on my mom's computer. I thought WTH are they doing for half the photos, and assumed it was simply a weird adult trend. I was 11. Honestly I just kind of figured it out on my own after that. After a while and a few interesting discoveries, such as an old Renaissance porn book in the closet, it occurred to me that guys couldn't have dicks for no reason. And I quickly put 2 and 2 together and looked it up to be sure. A year later, my parents got me a book trying to explain this stuff, and then my dad tried a year later. Mostly because I did not have my own device and had been caught a few times, but I already had found his saved porn tabs, so he had nothing on me. A book, titled Sublev Jagtil, That Is How I Was Made, or something like that. I must have been like 6 or 7. I was more about the social aspect of how two parents might meet, but old briefly touched on sex. To attempt to quote the book, while also translating it. Sex is not only a number, it is also something parents did. It that goes on to describe the act and how reproduction works, but I didn't feel like typing it out. Note, that sex can mean both sex and sex as in the act, in Swedish. Then there was the puberty talk in 5th grade, at the age of 11, that was fucking awkward. Then there was the first time I went through sex ed, in 7th grade, 13, I hated it. Then the school went bankrupt and the new school I started at had their sex ed in 8th grade, 14, I fucking hated it too, but not quite as much as the previous round. Then finally 3rd year of gymnasium, 18, guess what, more sex ed. But that time I just kicked back and enjoyed the shit show that comes from sex ed with a class of mechanics students. It was fucking flipping the channel one day and found a porn channel. This was back in the late 90s when there was an illegal little black box that gave you access to all the channels on TV. Back when cable TV was a thing. My dad got it for the soccer tournaments that were being held that year in our home country. Or at least that is what he told us and my mom. I don't know if he knew what it could really do. Either way, I was like 9 years old lol. I didn't know what they were doing on TV, but I somehow knew it would be bad if I got caught, so I swapped channels fast when I heard the front door and didn't get caught lol. I was 12 or 13, old. I know I grew up Orthodox Jewish. I'm 17 now, and I had a Kindle for reading. No cell phone. Sometimes you could get free books on it. There was a free book called Silence and the description said it was about a girl who was mute. Whatever. Nothing inappropriate in the description. So I downloaded it cause I was bored. Well, it had sex in it. I legit didn't know what sex was at all, and so on a Kindle if you hold down a word it gives you the definition, and I remember holding it down to get the definition of sex and I was like WTF lol. That's also how I learned what rape was, cause there was rape in the book. TLDR, don't download free books on your Kindle. So I heard my friend say he is bisexual. I thought it was pretty strange but decided to give it a try. The next time I was horny I went to the garage and found my mom's beach cruiser bike. I wasn't sure where to start but I eventually figured out that I could remove the seat, revealing a smooth aluminum tube, perfect for a fuck. I exclaimed. It was quite rough around the edges, so before I tried putting my cock inside I grabbed a hot dog from the fridge and put it inside and it fit so perfectly. It slid all the way inside and then I lost my grip and it went all the way into the frame so I couldn't get it out, but I didn't mind. Now with all light screen I pumped my cock as hard as I could into the tube. It started bleeding but I didn't care. The euphoria from fucking the tight aluminum tube suppressed the pain better than morphine ever could. I went faster and faster and the blood was an excellent lube. I reached my climax and started coming over everything. My dick was so shredded that it started coming out the sides. After I finished coming I started thinking more clearly. I started crying as the only remains of what was once my penis was now just a bloody, cummy pulp. It's been 4 days and the hot dog I dropped in the bike is starting to smell. What can I do, guys? I don't know what to tell my mom as she always rides the bike to work and now she is questioning why the bike smells of rotten, bloody, cummy sausages. Any help would be appreciated, thanks in advance. When I was a kid, I was the best in my class and as I had a big ego, I wanted to be even better so I could maybe skip 1 year as I saw a boy do in a movie, so I started searching a lot about what I'd learn in the next years, mainly biology because at that time I wanted to be a doctor. Well, one thing led to another and a few weeks later I searched for female and male reproductive systems and clicked in a video. That's how I discovered it. Also, my parents were really liberal so they didn't look at my search history a lot, they still looked because I was really a child, and even after finding that, they just talked normally about it and explained better. Thanks for watching. If you like these videos, hit subscribe, smack the bell, and smash the like. I'm the Reddit Onion. See you next time.